Who is he?
My father.
Right.
He was born in Australia, and he came to this country, and he took his degree in Scotland as a doctor. And then he always loved the sea, so he started by being a ship's doctor.
Gracious.
And that is when he was on the Carpathia and the Titanic.
He was on the Carpathia?
Yes.
Right.
And
what was his job on the Carpathia?
as a doctor.
As the only doctor?
The only doctor, yes.
Gracious.
Yes.
It says, presented to Dr. McGee as a slight token of affection and esteem by these survivors of the Titanic, April the 15th, 1912.
Yes. True.
They must have felt incredibly warmly towards him. I mean, he was just the
they
man who had
yes.
pulled them back from the brink of death.
Yes, I think so.
What do you think happened that night on the Carpathia?
Well, he didn't talk about it too much because it was so awful. And he said there was, you know, all these frozen people he had to deal with brought out of the sea. And it was quite horrific.
It must have been terrifying.
He said it was terrifying, and of course there were lots of troubles which I won't go into about why it was so horrific. But he didn't want to talk about that too much either.
Yeah. What an amazing story this is. Because as you know, at the moment, there's a sort of fever of Titanic
yes.
interest.
Yes.
Everybody's been to see the film. There have been huge reports in the press about the
yes.
whole story of it, as to why it happened, why certain people got the lifeboats and other people didn't.
Yes.
Up here we have a Humane Society award for him and all his bravery at that
yes.
time.
Yes.
He really must have been a most extraordinary and remarkable man.
Yes.
This is a silver medal.
Yes.
Presented by the Humane Society, which went in conjunction with
yes,
the certificate at the back. Right. But this is something quite different. This is the most extraordinary thing.
That's another
this
thing.
is presented to captain, officers and crew of RMS Carpathia from the survivors of the Titanic, April 15th, 1912.
Yeah.
That is made out of 14-karat gold.
Yes.
And there were only 14 of them made.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Did you know that?
I didn't know that, no.
It's an extraordinarily rare thing. Only the most outstanding officers received one of these awards.
Yes.
It's almost unheard of if you think
yes.
in the whole world there are 14 of these objects. The even more peculiar thing is that one of these was sold recently.
Yes.
Now, presumably you would never consider selling any of these objects
no.
because they're all family objects.
Yes.
They are perhaps things that you might consider insuring.
Yes. Haven't insured them, yes.
I think it's extremely important you do so, because in New York, in 1997, one of these medals was sold for $50,000. Yes. So that equates roughly to £30,000 now.
George heavens. I know I do. Can't believe it.
So I think what we have here, looking at your whole collection of objects,
yes.
are probably things that ought to be insured for £50,000.
Yes, thank you. Yes. It's amazing.
How can you measure one man's valour?
Indeed.
Thank you very, very, very much.
It's been a very moving day for us. Thank you.